Hello everyone, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we're looking at the Umarex VP9 CO2 Blowback BB pistol. Make sure to check out my field test shooting video where I test out this airgun in my indoor CCAN airgun shooting range. I test out the feet per second and accuracy for this pistol, so make sure to check out that video. I'll put a link in the description. I want to compare right off the bat to another gun that has very similar internal sort of mechanisms, and that's the ISSC M22, another CO2 blowback BB pistol, and I have reviewed this gun as well, so check out the reviews for this pistol. All right, you can see it here. All right, kind of nice. Now both of them are very similar in that they're semi kind of blowback. They don't have the full blowback action like some airsoft pistols do. They both have similar magazines, okay? So they're full-size dropout metal magazines that have this mechanism, right, that have this kind of way that they operate. And this little sort of CO2 valve goes right into the breech. So both of them use that feature. But the mags are all metal, and they do hold the CO2 and the BBs, right? So pretty nice guns. And they kind of operate in a similar way. I probably would think they're maybe even made in the same factory. It's possible, right? So we'll put that back in. They both have plastic frames, metal slides, again, metal magazines, a lot of metal internal parts. So again, check out that video review for the ISSC M22. All right, let's get right into some of the specifications. Now, it's a replica of the VP9 9mm. Now, the VP stands for Volks pistol, so it's sort of a Germany thing. V, it's spelt with a V, so V in German is usually pronounced with a W, so it'd be Volks, sort of like Volks pistol. And this basically means, it translates to, in other words, people's pistol. The VP9 does feature blowback action and has a metal slide, a polymer frame with good weight to it overall. It uses standard 12-gram CO2 cartridges, shoots 4.5mm steel BBs. It holds 18 rounds in its dropout all-metal full-size magazine, along with the CO2, of course. It has a 4.13-inch smoothbore barrel, has fixed white dot sights that are non-adjustable, has a single and kind of a double-action trigger, and I'll show you that in a minute what I mean. The internal hammer or striker, possibly. Not really sure how it's designed internally, but it's kind of probably going to be more like a striker than a hammer, as it's not external. It does actually get cocked back in the ready-to-go position with the cycling of the slide. So when you're pulling that trigger, the first stage is basically just pushing that little nozzle forward and loading a BB into the breech. But there is a little tiny bit of friction when that happens, so it's kind of not necessarily a true single-action trigger, but close enough. This gun shoots up to 350 feet per second, has a 1.42 pound weight to it, so 644 grams. And again, it's fully HK licensed through Umarex. Also has the rail for accessories. This gun is also made in Taiwan and comes in this elegant clamshell. Okay, beautiful clamshell packaging that we all love. All right, let's see if we can get in here. 18 rounds, drop-free mag, metal slide, Picatinny rail. Right. You know, you're not gonna really get a lot. Some more stuff on the back here. Right, nothing fancy. Pretty much have to destroy the clamshell packaging to get into it. Here's the manual, okay. More information there, right. Inside, of course, we're gonna have instructions, how to use the gun, you know, parts of the gun, how to load it, CO2 and BBs, cautionary things not to do, how to aim it, and some specifications and things, right? It also comes with your Allen key, so you can tighten up that CO2 that's in the magazine. All right, let's take a quick look at this gun, get it nice and tight here. Okay, so you've got the engraving that's right in the slide, which is nice. I like it when they do that, so it's not white. I don't like the white markings as much. I kind of like it when it's just right in the slide, right? This would be the takedown lever. It is part of the frame, which is polymer frame, so it's molded into the frame. You do have a nice slide catch, right? Get that to work here. There it is. Now you notice it kind of goes back, not totally fully. The slide catch release is on. As it comes back, it locks out, right? So it's not like a full lockout like you'd see on a lot of the full blowback airsoft pistols. But it's a nice gun. You can see you've got your VP markings on the grips here, right? You've got a actual working trigger safety. Okay, so you notice I'm pulling it back. Now this gun is going to fire because it does have CO2 in it, but there's no BBs. So you can see, in order to fire it, I do need to engage that. Okay. Now here's your magazine release here. It's ambidextrous, it's both sides. And here is your magazine, okay? There's your CO2 screw on the bottom. Okay. And there's that little kind of nozzle. So as you pull the trigger, this goes forward, which basically creates a seal into the barrel, pushes a BB into the barrel, and creates a seal in the barrel, allowing for more efficiency. You know, so you're going to get more power and more CO2 efficiency. It's kind of a nice design. Okay, we'll put that back in. You do have your white dot sights front and back. Okay. You can see right into the magazine here. Right. So you can see through the gun. On the other side, you do have a safety. You know, it's pretty discreet, but it's not, you know, the real gun wouldn't have it, so that's not going to be true to the real gun. Your warning instructions are right here on the below the trigger guard. Nice and discreet. I like that it's not on the slide. The slide's nice and clean. There's no white writing on the slide. You also have the 9mm markings on the ejector port here, okay? Or within the ejector port. There's your ambidextrous safety again. There's your Picatinny rail with your serial number. It does have a recessed barrel. You know, a nice gun overall. Let's do some blowback action real quick for you. Right, pretty nice. All right, let's go over some pros and cons. The Umarex H&K VP9 does have a nice crisp blowback action. I like that it has the full-size dropout metal magazine. We all like that. Better than stick magazines any day. Now there's going to be a lot of metal parts where you would expect them to be, like in the slide, the magazine, the barrel, the slide catch release, the magazine ejector, and of course lots of internal metal parts. It's a fairly accurate looking replica of the original HK VP9, and it's fully licensed through Umarex. It's nice that it has the white dot sights. They're easy to sight in on your target for most backgrounds, whether they're dark or light. And I like that they made the trigger safety an actual working trigger safety as opposed to just one that looks the part. It actually works the part. I like that it has a rail for accessories if you want to put a tack light, perhaps a laser, something like that. And I like that Umarex didn't go overboard with the warning instructions and put them underneath the trigger guard there and made them nice and discreet. This gun's also pretty well priced. Here in Canada, it's just over $100, about $119 or so Canadian at the time of this video. So that's a pretty reasonable price for what you get. Couple cons. I'm not a fan of the clamshell packaging. I've always said that. It makes the gun seem cheap even before you actually hold it and feel it. Look at it in that packaging and it kind of looks like a toy. Even though once you get it out, usually you sort of feel a little better about it. The sights are non-adjustable, which is pretty typical of low-cost blowback BB pistols. And if you haven't already watched my field test shooting video, you'll see that in that video, it didn't actually get that great of accuracy. Usually with a blowback BB pistol at 30 feet, I can get at least 2 to 3 inch groupings. I got more like a 4 to 5 inch grouping with this pistol, so not terribly bad, but when you're shooting pop cans, you may not get them every time at 30 feet. Although it could have been me, you never know. Sometimes I shoot better on some days than other days. All right, keep in mind, the Umarex HK VP9 is available in both our Canada and US replica airgun stores, so click on the links in the description of this video if you're interested in buying one. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Also check out our Canada and US online stores where we sell air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, and other accessories. And make sure to check out the written post over on our Replica Airguns blog, which is located at replicaairguns.com. We'll have a full written review along with additional photos. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.